Ooh. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you all here on this cold, crisp, sunny Sunday morning. And welcome to, I see Thea is operating our all systems go to welcome all our online visitors this morning as well. So my name is Reverend Gretchen Weis. I am your guest minister for this morning. I've been a UU minister for 11 years and retired about a year and a half ago, at the end of church year in 2023, from Murray UU Church in Attleboro, where they named me their minister emerita. And Reverend Dave is a very good friend of mine and a wonderful colleague. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be with you all this morning while he's on sabbatical. Is this his final month? So he'll be back in April? Sounds wonderful. All right. So welcome longtime church members and friends, and welcome if we have any newcomers or visitors. We are always excited to see visitors here with us. And we hope that you hear something this morning that may soothe your soul or feed your heart so that you might be tempted to come back again and again, because there's good stuff happening here. I'm going to ask you to center yourselves and get comfortable as together we co-create the sacred space of worship here this morning. I invite our worship associate, Blanche, to come forward to light our chalice. Blanche. I think we do this one. It's all good.
The words today of today's chalice lighting are adapted from Rabbi Erwin Keller, titled Before We Read the News. Spirit of life, I'm feeling vulnerable. I am afraid that looking at today's news will be painful. Encircle me in a robe of light so that I can witness the wounds of the world without being wounded myself. Let me learn what I need to know in order to be of my greatest use without being overwhelmed by despair. I feel your protective light now as I open myself to the world's suffering as well as the world's joys. Beautiful words for today.
Thank you. Hear these words from my friend and colleague, Erica Hewitt, for our call to worship. She writes, "Put away the pressures of the world that ask us to perform, take up masks, and put on brave fronts. Silence those voices that ask you to be perfect. This is a community of compassion and welcoming. You do not have to do anything to earn the love contained here within these walls. You do not have to be braver, smarter, stronger, better than you are right here in this moment to belong here with us." Pardon while I take my bracelets off so I'm not clinking around. You only have to bring the gift of your body, no matter how able, your seeking mind, no matter how busy, your animal heart, no matter how broken. Bring all that you are and all that you love to this hour. Come, let us worship together. Our first hymn is number 360 this morning. Here we have gathered 360 in the gray hymnal, and I invite you to rise in either body or spirit to join in singing. Number 360. Circle of kinship, come and its battles, sorrows, and regret. But in the shadows, let us not forget. We who now gather know each other's pain. Kindness can heal us, and faith we gain. Sing now in friendship this our heart's own song. Please be seated. So I would like to invite you now into a moment of prayer and centered meditation, followed by a time of shared silence together. So please get comfortable and center yourselves, and you may certainly close your eyes if you are comfortable doing so. Spirit of love, spirit of life, sacred experience known by many names and by none. Some of us are weary, shell-shocked, exhausted, and in need of hope. We need to be reminded of all the many blessings that still remain in our day-to-day lives. For example, let us be grounded in gratitude for what personal health and well-being we currently enjoy. And let us be grateful for the health of the people we love. If I have a refrigerator and a pantry full of food, remind me to be grateful. Too many people all over the world, including right here in America, go to bed hungry. If I have a safe, warm roof over my head, let me be reminded of gratitude. Let me be reminded that too many people slept outside last night in these cold winter temperatures. If you are able-bodied, able to walk, take stairs, get up and down easily out of a chair, or you can see to be able to read or drive, or if you can clean and groom and feed yourself, here's an invitation to be grateful. Too many people have limited mobility and struggle to get through their day-to-day lives. Yes, even in the midst of the chaos swirling everywhere in the world right now, there is still something to be grateful for. I'm going to invite us to move into a time of shared silence together, where I'm going to ask you to think about and give thanks for some of the blessings that you enjoy in your one wild and precious life. Let us be grounded in gratitude in this time of shared silence, giving thanks even for the challenges we may face, as life's challenges are sometimes the biggest opportunities to stretch and learn and grow. Let us enter into the silence. Amen. I invite Blanche to come forward with our reading this morning.
Morning again. Your world is burning, and here's what you can do about it. Adapted from Joan Westenberg. Everything hurts right now. You open your phone, war, collapse, crisis, corruption. Some days it feels like watching the world burn down to ash in real time. The weight of powerlessness settles in. The crush of too much information, too little agency, the vertigo of trying to find solid ground in shifting sand. But powerless is a lie that we tell ourselves. Your circle of control exists, is real. It's real, not as motivational concept or a bullshit management framework, but as the basic building block of action. You have more control than you think. How you spend the next hour, where you direct your energy, the problems you choose to solve, who you help, what you build, when you act, why you move. Notice what's missing from that list of where you have control. Other people, markets, systems, politics, the vast machinery of the world that occupies so much mental space. This isn't about retreating from those realities. It's about recognizing where real leverage exists. The truth is brutal but liberating. The only way to deal with a world on fire is to focus on putting out the flames you can actually reach. Not because it's all you deserve, not because it's all you're capable of, but because it's where real impact happens, while everyone else is paralyzed by the spectacle of collapse. You can doom scroll or you can create. You can rant or you can build. You can theorize or you can act. The world is burning whether you watch it, read about it, spiral over it, or not. But in your circle of control, you can build something that matters, something real, something that helps. Real power is in the granular. It's in the newsletter you publish about local issues nobody else covers. It's in the community garden you plant in a vacant lot. It's in the tech support hours you offer seniors at the local library. It's supporting the local food pantry or volunteering as a tutor in schools. Small community actions, multiplied by consistency, backed by a commitment to specific place and specific people. Your community, the community you choose to build, is in your circle of control. Start there. The rest is noise.
Six weeks. It's only been 6 weeks. Feels more like 6 months. So how the heck are we going to get through the next 3 years and 46 more weeks? Now, for anyone in the room who may have voted for this president, allow me to paraphrase the words of our patriot forefather Patrick Henry. While I may not agree with your choice for president, I will defend to the death your right to vote your conscience however you see fit. Let us at least respect that right for one another as we agree to disagree about what's currently going on in Washington right now. However, for those of us in the room who hold liberal progressive values, I can't be the only one, right? Yeah, okay, count myself among you here. Let's just name the past 6 weeks as exhausting, heartbreaking, and horrifying. How are we going to get through this? Now, first and foremost, I think it's important to remember that you are not alone. This administration was elected by a very slim margin, not a landslide, which means that nearly half of all people in America did not sign up for the Project 2025 rollout that we're currently witnessing. As these weeks have unfolded, I found myself feeling helpless, trying to figure out what, if anything, could I do right now? And my thoughts turned to a prayer by theologian Reinhold Niebuhr. Many of you know this as the Serenity Prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This prayer is a spiritual exercise to identify the things I cannot change so I can focus more clearly on what I can change. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But it's not easy. For instance, I cannot change the results of this election. And based on President Trump's first 4 years in office, I know I cannot change anything about his behavior, including his lies. I cannot change any of the outrageous things he says and does. And I cannot change that he ignores the Constitution and the rule of law when it suits him. And I cannot change that he has allowed an unelected billionaire, Elon Musk, to access confidential government data while he randomly dismantles and shuts down programs and services. These are but a few of the many, many things that I cannot change right now. But please remember this. Just because I need to accept the things I cannot change doesn't mean I have to like what's happening. Doesn't mean that acceptance is the same as approval. It's not. And that's an important distinction. I may have to accept, but I don't have to like it. So now is not the time to tune out from all that's happening. I can't bury my head in the sand for the next 4 years, and neither should you. Now is the time to continue to pay attention and to take action when and where we can. So let's turn to where we do have some power. Right now, for instance, I have the power to change how I respond to stress and duress. For example, grant me the courage to change my tendency to catastrophize. I know I personally need to stay grounded in facts and not imagine the worst possible case scenario. Let me give you an example. Roe v. Wade and a woman's right to choose an abortion anywhere in the U.S. was overturned during Trump's first presidency. And it's now been left up to each state to decide about a woman's right to choose. Now, left to my own devices, I could get myself all tied up in knots, imagining that now there's going to be a total nationwide ban on abortion. Instead, I need to stay grounded in the facts. Right now, access to safe legal abortion is still up to each state. No one is proposing a nationwide ban. I got plenty of things to worry about right now. I don't need to manufacture things that haven't even happened yet. So that's one of the things I need to change about myself. What other actions can I take right now? I can choose to be kind, respectful and kind. Kind to everyone whose path I cross each day, from the store clerk to a person at work or at home, especially if I'm impatient or irritated with somebody. Because even in my irritation, I can still choose to treat somebody with kindness and respect. Kindness right now is downright countercultural, a meaningful alternative in a world grown more cruel and hate-filled. And I can choose to continue to support the church. Our church matters now more than ever before, because our churches are welcoming, beloved communities of care and concern. This church is a beacon of love and hope, justice, equity, and inclusion, a safe space for all people, and believe me, that is no small thing right now. Right now, we are also especially called to rally around our LGBTQ family and friends, especially as trans and genderqueer folk are being attacked at the national and now state levels. Iowa this week stripped transgender people of their civil rights protections in that state. I fear that more is coming, but I'm trying not to catastrophize. It's only happened in one state so far. But what can First Parish do to serve as a beacon of hope and love and support and inclusion, a safe space for the LGBTQ community? Consider creating a safe space for trans teens to gather and have fun, maybe like an LGBTQ game night here at First Parish. Or think about this. A group of UU churches in Houston, Texas partnered together to create an alternative prom night for LGBTQ teens. So they would have a safe space to enjoy a big dress-up dance together. It became a huge hit and an annual tradition. And it's needed now more than ever in all of our communities, not just a red state like Texas. LGBTQ teens are being picked on here. Don't kid yourself. So perhaps this church might be able to do something like that to help create safe space. In addition to gay and trans rights, your church also remains a great way to continue to do other works of love and justice. As our reading reminded us this morning, we start first by serving those in need right here in our local communities. Now, if you hadn't gotten involved in the work of this church yet, check out the back of today's order of service. You can consider helping to volunteer with Chaplains on the Way with their current clothing drive to help the homeless. Or consider helping Dignity Matters. They provide underwear and female sanitary products to women and girls in Massachusetts in need. Or you can help keep the shelves of the Medfield food cupboard fully stocked. The point is, get out there and do something good for someone else. There are countless ways to get involved and help build that better world we dream of right here, right now. Starting in our own backyard. That's one of the most important ways we can take action. You might also consider reaching out to family and friends to create a safe circle of trust and support as times continue to get tougher. Maybe even form that group here at church. A group that helps to not only support one another, but might also reach out to your local, state, and national elected officials and make your voice heard on the issues you care about most. Maybe come and have an elected representative come speak to you. The point is that remaining silent is compliance. Remember that from the civil rights era? Silence is compliance. When we're silent, we're saying or implying that somehow what's going on is okay, and it's not okay. Other ways to make your voice heard: write a letter to the editor, or post something positive and affirming on your social media accounts. Write something for your own church newsletter. This is the time to stay informed, remain aware, and if you can't stomach the talking heads on the news, then read newspapers online, follow blogs on Substack, and subscribe to your local newspaper. Subscribing to your local newspaper is huge. Why? Because the Boston Globe doesn't have the reporting resources anymore to pay attention to what's happening on the local level. And that's why the Medfield Hometown Weekly matters. Is there anybody in the room who reads it, subscribes? Okay, let me tell you a story. I get the Daily Sun Chronicle, which serves Attleboro and 9 other communities nearby. And last year, 2024, an upset parent called the North Attleboro School District and demanded that the book Woke, a young poet's call to justice, be removed from all North Attleboro school libraries because they didn't want their child exposed to anything woke. That's it, one parent, one phone call. And the school district went ahead and removed the book from all their school libraries. Thanks to quick reporting by the Sun Chronicle, the Boston Globe found out about this, and then the local Boston and Providence area TV stations picked up on the story. And that's how the local town council even found out about it. So they called a town hall meeting, and in the wake of the local outrage, the banned book was returned immediately to school library shelves. So local newspapers are sometimes the only tool in a democracy to hold local politicians accountable and provide ways for us to learn about and resist some of the culture war activities that we may not be aware of are going on right here in our own neighborhood. And here are just a few other things that I identified that where I had power and I could take action. I'm powerless to get America back into the Paris Accords, but I can manage my own carbon footprint and help fight against climate change. I continue to drive my hybrid car, and I can continue to cut down on the amount of beef I eat. I do like hamburgers though, but watch how much beef I eat. You get the idea. And here's something that I really needed to remember these past 6 weeks. Life can be extremely challenging right now, but it doesn't mean that all of life is challenging. There will be times of beauty and joy and awe and wonder in the days and the weeks and the months ahead. There will be gardens, there are blackbirds, there will be gardens, there will be roses and Rocky Road ice cream and sunny days at the beach. And there will be love and laughter shared with family and friends. So no matter what's going on in our nation's capital, don't forget to make time for joy in your life. Celebrate those graduations, those weddings, those wonderful life milestones. So obviously now is the time to make sure you're taking good care of yourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I invite you to pay attention to the basics like eating healthy, getting regular exercise, and getting enough sleep. But also don't forget to take good care of that deepest part of yourself. Tough times call for tough spiritual warriors. We're going to need our spiritual batteries recharged if we're going to be agents of love and justice in whatever's coming next. If you don't have a daily spiritual practice, here's an invitation to get started. Consider a gratitude practice. It's easy. I invite you to notice and write down at the end of each day 3 things that brought you joy, 3 things for which you are grateful. I keep a little notebook by my bed and a pen by the bed, and at the end of the day I remember and I write down the things that made me smile. It's a delicious exercise because in truth, even in my crabbiest feel sorry for myself life moments, I can still find something to feel grateful for. For example, I appreciate the ongoing love of and support of my family and friends. That's a given. But I began to notice smaller, everyday, ordinary gifts. Like I'm talking about that first cup of steaming hot coffee in the morning. The way it smells. How the cup warms my hands as I hold it in that first sip of the day. And over time, I got better at noticing moments that take my breath away. From the sound of birds greeting a rising sun to the power of an oncoming storm, to the quiet beauty of falling snowflakes. Or how about the way that the western sky can shout colors everywhere in the setting of the sun? Or the beauty of a full moon and the stars. I invite you to choose gratitude. Are you willing to give it a try? I invite you to write down 3 things that happened each day for which you are grateful. And for families, consider doing a gratitude check as you begin your evening meal together, where each member of the family has a chance to go around the table and share something good that happened that day. Choosing gratitude is holy work. It's a way to live our faith out loud in this bruised and broken and yet still beautiful world. These are tough times, and tough times call for tough spiritual warriors. Through a daily gratitude practice, may we grow in spiritual strength and resilience, better prepared for whatever work lies ahead, because rest assured, there will be work to do as the days, weeks, and months and years unfold. As spiritual warriors, may we be ready for whatever needs doing to build that better world of which we all dream. Amen, and may it be so. Right, we have an editorial response.
Actually, appropriately, it is an editorial response because Medfield has a terrific local news source, and it's the Medfield Insider. Do you all know about it? It's online, it's free, it comes out every Monday. It is much better than any local newspaper that's ever been in town in the thoroughness of its coverage. And at one point in the distant past, I was the Medfield reporter for the Patriot Ledger. I had to come up with news every day, but I didn't do it as well as the Medfield Insider does. And if you don't get it, and you Google Medfield Insider, you can get yourself a free subscription.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now I'm going to invite Mary to come up and lead us in our offering. Thank you.
Good morning. So as I was listening to Reverend Weis this morning, I was thinking of what it means to tend things that we love, that bring us joy, that bring us moments of solitude and silence, that keep us heartful as we navigate these uncharted waters. And one place for me that brings such an underscoring of support is First Parish. And I know we all bring our imaginations, our vision, our time, our effort, and also our financial support. So whatever the amount, however small, however large, we accept it gratefully. And today we're sharing the offering with UU Urban Ministry that does amazing work in the area of social justice. And tending their mission as well is why we're so grateful to share it with them this morning. Thank you.
Our closing hymn is number 6 in the gray hymnal, number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath. So please rise as you are willing and able and join in singing number 6. Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to love. Please be seated. Our closing words this morning are from our faith ancestor, Reverend Edward Everett Hale. He was active preaching here in Massachusetts in the late 1800s, and he reminds us, I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. Amen. I usually go to the back and greet people. Do you have a secret? You have your secret escape hatch is coffee down there. I'll be over here then.